let's think about how we can make money doing something that you love and all the things you can do to get there. And after me, actually, I've got Debbie coming on, and Debbie is an expert in creating passive income in all forms of content. So whether that's written or audio, and she's going to show you some of the things that I'm going to be talking about today about how to create instant authority. So authority is where if you're doing something, people recognize you as that person in that space, and then they want to do business with you and they feel that they can trust you. So I'm going to give you some examples of that as well this morning. So it kind of follows on quite nicely. So Debbie's coming up after me. But yeah, we're talking about how you make money doing something you love. Hi, Donald. Hi, Edward. No worries. You're here perfectly on time. And Ian. Hi, Ian in Manchester and South Africa. Sandil. Hello. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. And if you've got any questions, I mean, obviously around what we're talking about, any other topics, not about paddleboarding or anything like that, but anything about working for yourself or doing business online or anything like that, do pop them in the comments because I can happily answer them for you if I can. So this is, many of you see me quite often on Saturday School, but if you're new to me on Saturday School, this is kind of how I created the life that I love. And it all started, I was originally a solicitor, and then Simon Coulson ran his 3-day internet marketing weekend, which is a picture at the bottom here. And this says me, because that's me on stage, but I covered myself up by accident with the photo. But that's how it started for me, that big transition. And I think that where we're trying to transition into do something we love, there's always different routes for everybody. And this was my route. And it turned into a really big journey of transformation for me and all the things I've done in my business. And that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit today, because sometimes we can get stuck in where we are and we think, okay, well, how can I earn more money and how can I make a life that I love more? Because I really enjoy my life now, and I have a lot of freedom in there to choose the things that I do. And like creating this book, it was completely something that I hadn't really thought was possible, and then to create this book, it was pretty amazing. So good morning, Alan, nice to see you. So this is probably the best slide out of the whole lot, because last week, like I said, I was in Wales and I was talking to a guy called David Hyatt, and he is the founder of the Do Lectures, and he was saying about the 1%, and he said 99% of people don't take any action, and then there's the 1% who do take the action. And I've seen this play out quite a few times over the years with people I've known. So sometimes we are held back from doing stuff because we are fearful of something that's probably subconsciously in our mind. So if I make more money, I might be successful and people won't like me. It's probably from a story growing up or something like that. Or maybe you have other subconscious thoughts about, I might be controlled by others if I have money, or there's loads of different things it could be. But we quite often procrastinate and we slow up the process because of something we're not even sure about ourselves that's going to stop us. So if you find yourself procrastinating, have a think about some of the things that might be holding you back. And there's a good book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, and he talks about this, how we get to a certain ceiling. So if you look at the amount of money you're bringing in each month at the moment, you'll probably see that averages out about the same amount. And I was speaking to a friend about this a while ago, and she said it was just crazy because she didn't even realize she does different types of work. So she can say yes and no to work, and she would look back at all her accounts and she could see that there was always this average of about money she attracted to her. And quite often this is why if people win big amounts of money, like lottery wins, a lot of the time people will lose that money quite quickly because they haven't built up the capacity to hold that amount of money and they don't know how to interact with it. So saying that, the most effective thing to do anything is to do it. So rather than just sitting there thinking about an idea, I'm going to share an idea, I'm going to share something that some of you know about already, but it's where I took some action and I removed the fear element, because I'll explain a bit more, but it basically led to this book, and it's led to creating income on a regular basis, which you could say was passive. I mean, it's not passive because I run a community, but it's a rolling kind of contract of money. It's not finding new people all the time to roll into that. So anyway, so remember that slide because it's really important. Now, this is also important, and that is you need to know where you're going and what you really want, because if you don't set yourself some targets or really know in your mind what it is important to you, then you're going to find it tricky to get there. So the example I often use is using a sat nav. Sat navs are amazing pieces of kit, and they will get you from where you are now to somewhere else. But if you don't put in the destination, you are never going to reach it, or you're not going to know you've reached it. So it's really, really good, because also if you say, right, I want to move my income bracket up by £1,000 a month or £500 a month or whatever it might be, if you start edging towards that goal, it gives you that momentum because you can see yourself making progress. And you might not even realize that you're actually making extra money if you haven't sort of set the goals and written it down. So you really need to lean into this and think, what is it you really, really want? And how many hours do you want to work a week? So if you've ever set yourself some goals, let me know in the comments with a yes. If you've never done it, let me know with a no. Simple, yes or no. Have you ever set yourself some goals? Yes, Alan, well done. That was great. Hi, Billy, nice to see you. Only Alan so far has set himself some goals. Oh, maybe have some more. Oh, it's not moving. Oops. I can't see the chat. Oh, there we go. Yes, great. Always, John, brilliant. Hazel, yes. Cressy, yes. Excellent. And this is the good thing. It's like set yourself goals and then you can see if you're reaching them. What was the last one? I got my chat covered up. But yeah, and contribution, like it might not always be about the money. Like, how do you want to contribute? How do you want to maybe enhance other people's lives? How do you want to enhance your own life? What would light you up? Because sometimes, and there's surveys actually that sometimes say that even having an increase in your money if you work in the corporate environment is not actually what everybody wants. Sometimes they want other things. So think about that. Goals, Edward. Yay. Always setting life goals, business goals, personal goals, fitness goals. Lots of goals. Excellent. How are they going? Are you hitting them? Yeah, well, there is that, but you're never going to. So Hugh says, if you haven't seen it, yes, but you have to be sure that you have to set the right goals. And that we could get into a massive discussion about what is right. What are the right goals? Like, are they things that feel congruent to you? Do they feel aligned with you where you want to be? And what makes them right? Like, or are we going to go into a deep thing like, goals that really are not making a good impact in the world? Is that what you mean? I mean, I don't really know. But yeah, you want to, when you say setting the right goals, I think they've got to be really congruent with where you are. And I noticed this before in the past where I did things that weren't quite in alignment with me. It didn't feel right. You could tell if you listen to your body and listen to if you listen to yourself, like you often have the answers, and we always have the answers inside you. So yeah, that's interesting actually, Hugh. So you discover when you achieved them, they weren't right for me. Yeah, and it all adds to the process. And I think from my own experience, I found that when we do pursue things and then we get to them and we think that wasn't right for me, there's something else going on. There's some other work that you need to free yourself of. And but you will always learn something, whatever goals you go for. And then you will learn that actually this isn't the right goal for me. And I've definitely done that myself. So, but the trick is as humans, we need to grow and we need to feel like we are developing and learning, because that keeps our brain ticking and it keeps us in a better frame of mind. So a lot of this is also to do with mindset, which is 80%. In fact, I heard a quote the other day, which I probably can't say because I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's something like, maybe I wrote it in my book. Let's see if I wrote it in my book. Oh, I did write one quote in my book actually, which is a super duper quote. And this is, oh yeah, this is a good quote as well. We choose the right dreams, but we choose the wrong time frames. David Hyatt said that, because so often we want the results yesterday, like we want it all yesterday or all today. We don't care, yesterday or today, but things take a long time. Sometimes things take a long time. So, you know, we overthink what's holding us back when actually it's all about taking action. So don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. That's also another good quote. But yeah, the quote was about, there was a guy who did an ultra marathon run, and he said he was talking about being an ultra marathon runner, and he said it's 90% mental and the rest of it is in your head, which is so true. I honestly totally think that. So Big Leap author is Gay Hendricks. I don't know if it's with an X, but you'll find it on you'll find it on I've sent that message. I wrote to myself there. I just sent that. I need to send it to everyone. I wrote it in the wrong box. I wrote it to myself because I'm the panelist. So there you go. Hey, Hendricks. Yeah, it's a great quote, isn't it? So I love that quote. And the other great quote as well is opportunity. I'm not gonna mess this quote up either because it's so good. Are you ready? I'm gonna find it. It's on one of my pictures. Hold on. Ready? And this is opportunity dances with those already on the dance floor. And that is by H. Jackson Brown Jr. Yeah, opportunity dances with those already on the dance floor. And that is so true. If you don't put yourself in the positions, you aren't going to get the things. And this is pretty much like, there's no magic. I've got no magic in this presentation. But I do know if you listen to some of the things that I say, you can really make a difference in your life. So set yourself goals, take the opportunities, put yourself on the dance floor. It's all mental. It's really, really, really good stuff. I know it's Edward. It's so good. So good. So good. I think I've run out of quotes that I wrote down the other day. Pretty cool though, hey? Right, I do get distracted in these presentations. So idea generation, like where are you going to get your ideas from? Like you're going to create something that you really, really love. Like, how do you get those ideas? And I think the number one is you have to listen to yourself. You really do have to listen to yourself. So I could only give you what's happened to me. And that time I went on Simon Coulson's course for 3 days. But I sat in that room and I was scared to go. And I didn't want to get out of the car when I got there. I was like, oh my God, I'm in London. And I sat there and I listened to all the stuff he shares. And he shares a lot in that course. I mean, it's an epic course. I mean, it's a complete overview of internet marketing. It's just an awesome course. And they talked about membership sites. And I came away and the membership site section was super duper small. And I thought, wow, I really, 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 there's something about this. And so that's where my pathway started, just in one tiny inkling. And then all those other things that I've done have come from that fact that I was interested in membership sites. And I took that action, and quite soon on, I'd written a book about them. Okay, so it's not like it's not the best book in the world, but it's a book that shared my knowledge at that time. So, at the time I was really happy with it. Now I've moved on, but that's the first step, and then you take a next step and the next step. So, so that's, think about things around you, things that inspire you, things that you're excited about. So don't drop into things that you think you should be doing them, because then really going to be a struggle for you to complete on. That's a good quote as well, Peter. Thank you. Success occurs where opportunity meets preparedness. Yes, that's a good quote. First quote, right dreams but wrong time frame. That's a good quote. Yeah, it is. We choose the right dreams but the wrong time frame. I know. Thank you for writing down the quotes. That's good. I think we might, I don't know, we're not sure. The Churchill quote might be backwards or forwards. It's like, what's he called? Einstein. There always so many quotes about him. Somebody just probably started making up Einstein quotes, didn't they? And then quoting them. But anyway, who knows? Once I make my own quote, I'll probably find it somewhere. So if you have no ideas, this is for somebody who has no ideas at all. which I believe that everybody on this call, like you are moving in the 1% because you're already in this call. You're going to be in that 1% because you're on a Saturday morning learning and you're not lying in bed watching telly or watching something else. So if you don't have any ideas, you use the internet. Look at Google Trends, and thank you, Jay, that's helpful. Look at Google Trends. You can see what's going on in the market, what's coming up. Keep an eye out. Simon always says about reading the newspapers and looking for opportunities through there. And like I say, you'll all follow your own pathway, but if you're feeling like you're not sure at all about what you could do to create money for yourself or create a life that you love, just keep yourself open. And I think it's also about following things. So for example, if I was on this webinar today, I probably would have bought that book already. If I felt like, oh, that's interesting, like what I said about it, as in it's about getting up to a ceiling and then how you get through that ceiling, you know. And I've read that book ages ago and I just remembered it, and I would have bought it already. It would be here with me tomorrow. As you can tell, I have many books. I'm surrounded by books, and that's the thing. It's like follow those. It's like breadcrumbs, and that book will take you somewhere else. And that's exactly how I did it. By picking up one book, looking at it. I was interested in a YouTube tutorial, or I Googled David Hyatt, because what I've been saying about him since, like David Hyatt, he has this company called the Do Lectures, and they have loads of inspirational, that's how you spell Hyatt. They have loads of inspirational talks on there, and listening to other people's stories can inspire you because they have probably done what you might like to do as well. So try and be mindful of what you're consuming, because what you consume will ultimately come out in your output. Important is another tool you can use to create content ideas. And this is the thing as well, it's about, sometimes it's just about creation. We don't necessarily know where that creation is going to take us, but there's so many, and I showed you the video before on a webinar, and the guy who talks about how people die at 21, because not actually die, but their ideas die in the graveyard at 21, because people have all these ideas and they just stay in their head, and ideas are no good in their head. It's great that that's where they come from, but then if you don't take any action with them, you're never going to get the feedback, and it's never going to generate into anything. So quite often, what you want, well, quite often, I would suggest that you start creating content, and it doesn't matter if someone reads it or if someone doesn't, but it's helping you through the process. So I started doing a newsletter on LinkedIn, and I'm on week 17 or week 18, which is quite a few months now, isn't it? And I didn't even really notice. I just committed to it and I just did it. And that's the thing. It's about committing to something. And one Friday I didn't have much time to do it, but I still did it because I was committed. I committed to it. So that's it's consistent action, whatever it is you're learning about. And to create this life you love, you need to take consistent and regular action. And the more you spend around people who are in similar spaces, the more you will recognize the patterns about the people who get the successes that you might be dreaming of. So keep going, and these are some tools that can help you. So you need to identify who you want to work with, and this is really, really important. And you hear it a lot when we're doing marketing, or if you're in business, obviously you need to know who you're marketing to. So we've talked, I shared the answer, the public, before. You can do 3 free searches each day, and it gives you loads of insights into what people are searching for on the internet, and it is a really good research tool. So you can look on there, and this is a kind of example of something that might come up from what you search for. So I must have searched for something to do with online coaching, because that's regularly messaged. So you can't, it's a bit blurry, but it says which online coaching is best for banking, which online coaching is best for, what's that one say? I can read that one. For G, I don't know what G is. Is online coaching good for, I can't even read them. But basically, it gives you lots of questions people are asking online. So what, who, why is online coaching good? Now, people are Googling, why is online coaching good? So if you are interested in doing online coaching, then why not write an article title it, Is Online Coaching Good? Or why is online coaching good? Or a good thing to do as well is you need to pique people's interest. So perhaps put why online coaching sucks or something like that, and then have your twist in your article. But you need to pique people's interest, and you need to create content around the things that people are looking at and people are searching for. So here's another question: which coaching is better, online or offline? Well, there you go. It's like a heading for a whole content piece. So get your content out of your head. And I think Debbie's talking about this when she follows up about creating content, because she creates it in lots of different ways. So yeah, use these kind of tools. You can put different things in that you might be interested in, but follow things that, like, what do people always ask you about? So before I moved into this space years ago, people would always ask me, like, Claire, how do you do this on the computer? Or can you fix this on the computer? Or can you find that? Like, I don't know about computers or fixing things, but I figure things out. I'm a problem solver, and I won't stop until I've solved that problem. And so people quite often need problem solvers in some capacity. So you think, okay, well, I'm narrowing it down. I'm a problem solver. What kind of problems can I solve? What am I interested in? And that's how you get down and niche to who you want to work with. So Edward says, Mama said knock you out, LL Cool J. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Knock you out. Is that a song? LL Cool J is a band. I don't know. It is Answer the Public. Yes, Edward, it is. The website is on this previous slide at the bottom. There you go. sothepublic.com. So yeah, use that. It's quite interesting. So yeah, that's a good way to research. Obviously, Google is your friend. Like, Google is everybody's friend, especially if you are if you're younger. My children, like, Google it. They don't even type it. They press that button that you can see at the top there with the microphone, this thing here. They talk to it. I haven't even got to that stage yet. But, like, seriously, they Google everything. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, I do Google a lot, but so Google is your friend. So if you find something you're interested about and you're thinking, okay, I'm quite interested in this, have a look what people are searching for. Are people searching for what you want to offer? And that's the really that's the important thing, because if you've got an idea, it might be, you love talking about, I don't know, panda pencil cases, panda pencil sharpeners, but who else cares about panda pencil? That's one of those, what are those things, panda pencil sharpeners. Don't say things with two P's. Nice sharpener. It's a nice sharpener, isn't it? It's very technical as well. You have to do some kind of elaborate look. You have to do this, and then you have to stick it in. It's very complex. It needs a degree to operate. That's why it doesn't belong to me. But it's been left on my desk. Now I can't close it. Right. Okay. It's now stuck in panda world. Don't sell panda pencil cases. That's what you take away from today. Quotes and don't sell. Seriously, if someone watches these back, they're like, what are you talking about? He's in Spain now. He's singing in Spain on a song retreat thing. That's what he does. And I get to do this for him. So anyway. Bad joke. It isn't a quote. I was just playing. Oh, I see. Knock you out. Mama said. Yeah. Okay. You know something? This is the thing about these webinars. Like, my jokes aren't funny because no one laughs. I can't hear you. Probably not funny anyway. Where did I get the panda sharpener? I don't know. I really don't know. It says on the side, I'm a cute panda. I reckon it was a Smiggle one, don't you think? I don't know. Some generous mummy moment on my part, probably. Right. So much value on a Saturday morning. You get so much value here. It's outstanding. But to be honest, all I want you to do is take away one thing. Like, forget everything else I say. Just do something after this. Like, just write an article, write a post, do something. That's it. That's all I want you to do. Just one thing. It'll take you to the next step. Buy that book. I'm not on commission. Try Amazon or eBay for panda sharpeners. Yeah. If one of my children comes past, I'll ask them where it was from. Anyway, everyone needs a panda sharpener, and they also need this on their desk as well. Some furniture polish. That's how we roll. So when you know who your target audience is, you need to gain credibility, because if you're going to the market of panda sharpeners, like, are you the person to buy sharpeners from? Because if not, quite frankly, there's so many places you can buy sharpeners from. Amazon, Smiggle, everywhere. Right, let's get back on track. So you need to get credibility, okay? You need to, and that's why we do things like, well, I've done things like write books and write content over long periods of time about my topic, which is community building. That's my topic. And so I've shared thousands of pieces of content about community building. I've written books on membership sites. I've written a book with a community. I built a community, and it all adds to the fact that I'd spent the book, who I can't remember who said it. Can't remember the name's guy. Somebody will know, but it's 10,000 hours to become an expert in anything. What's that guy called? Can't remember, but he wrote a book about it. It's probably behind me, I suspect. So here's the example. So when you're getting credibility, so this guy here is going to be an online coach, and you go to his website, which you find easily. He comes at the top result on Google, and you can see as soon as you get to his website, like, it's really, really direct, and it's really obvious straight away what you can do if you start working with him. So how to win at fat loss. Gladwell. Oh yes, it's on my bookshelf, is it? Fabulous. Where's that one then? I don't even know. I've got so many on my bookshelf. We could just do a whole thing where I go through the whole bookshelf, wouldn't we? And I'm one of the Business Book Awards judges as well, so I've got even more. I actually gave some books away recently. It was like painful. It's like giving away children. Well, probably not that painful, but anyway. Gladwell, yes, thank you, John. I'm glad you checked that out. So he's also got on his website as well a way to start building relationships, and I've done many a presentation about the importance of building relationships, because that's where the real beauty and real magic comes along, because things don't happen on the first meeting. Things take time to what's the word? Marinade. That's the word. Like food. Like if you marinate it, it's going to taste a whole lot better. If you just don't eat it quick, throw it down, it's not the same. So I'm full of stuff this morning, aren't I? Don't worry, everybody, it's not long left, and you can get somebody else on. Okay, so this Daniel guy, top search result on Google, super clear, clarity, there's clarity in the heading. So think about what you want to be in, and then this is about how you build credibility. And sometimes it's about how you present yourself to others as well, or all the time. Because if you're super confident with things, people feel confident with you, because if you're not confident, how could anybody else be confident in you? So he says, it's really, really clear: online fat loss coach, experienced personal trainer, and mentor to hundreds of men and women who've decided to stand up and make a change. It's like, boom. That's what you need. You need more boom in your life, where it's really, really clear and straight away, this is what he does. So Outliers, yes. I think that's that side. I don't know where it is. Outliers is a good book. It's got a lot about community in it. Right. Credibility. So when you get people to wherever it is you're trying to get them to, you need to then help them recognize that you can help them and you have helped others. So when you're starting out with something, then it's about finding either people you can work with maybe for free to get their testimonials, or doing partnerships with other people. So in my example, when I got excited about the membership sites, which ultimately turned into community building, because that's what it's about building relationships over time. One of the first things I did was a seminar with Simon, and he did half of it, or a quarter of it. I did 3/4 of it, because he had the credibility, because he had a membership site. So all the stuff that I was saying in theory, he was sharing from his point of view because he'd been running a membership site for a long time. So he had that credibility. And so, but now, for example, if I did a seminar on membership sites now in community building, obviously I've got my own credibility because I have a successful community. So, but early on in the journey, you might not necessarily have all the bits and pieces that you need. So you need to think about ways to build that credibility. So here's David, who's transformed. Training with Daniel has been one of the best investments I've made in myself. And so if you're thinking about working with this guy, you start looking at these pictures and it gives you that kind of, you start to build trust. So he says, no, he's made the impossible possible. Talking about, has anyone seen the 14 Peaks Netflix documentary about the guy who went up all 14 peaks within a very short time period? And he called his project Possible, which I just think, quite frankly, is the best name for anything, because it opens your mind. Like we're saying about mindset, if you think something is possible, you are on that dance floor. Whereas if you say, no, it's not possible, and you surround yourself by people who are saying it's not possible, then it's not going to be possible, because you will just find things that will make it impossible for you. So Project Possible, think about that. Take that away as well from today. Project Possible, write it on your wall. I think it's so important. The next thing is clarity. So if you go to this guy's website, you can see in 3 quick steps that you can do online coaching with him, you can do in-person coaching with him, or you can just read his blog. So the blog is the relationship building side. So that's for people who go along and not quite sure, they've seen a few pictures, not 100% sure that he's for them, but you're quite interested and you're thinking, okay, well, I might like to take this a bit further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start reading the blog. And then you start reading and you start thinking, oh, they've had good results. Oh, and then in the blog, if you are going to be the expert in that blog, you will be talking about things that you've done or your journey, because ultimately people connect with other people's stories. So there's a really good fitness blogger called Mary Llewellyn, and she shares her journey, and she's now created a food supplement brand as well. But she formed her body and her life through fitness, and she shares that journey, and she's got a massive community around it now, because people read stories and they reflect and they see themselves in the other person, and that's the best way to build authority and to build start building up what you want to be doing to create this life that you love. And here is Daniel. In fact, I don't know what I was doing when I was doing these things, they're a bit blurry, maybe you don't need to read it, but you need to see that picture. He's like confident, he's you know that he can help you, because you can just tell he doesn't look like he looks fit, he looks like he can help you. It's super short what he writes next to his name. That's me, Daniel Howard, online, you know, he just reinforces all the things. And so you start to think, okay, do not overcomplicate something that I've done for many years, but less is always more, in my opinion. So if you've got any questions, do let me know in the chat. Is this all making sense? What's your biggest takeaway? Anything, tell me how we're getting on. Right. So how do you find your target audience? So really have a think about who you love working with, and would you do it for free? Because if you can find that person that you would do it with for free and you love working with them, then that is going to be the dream life that you're talking about. So have a think about it and think about your own experiences, because probably 8 to 9 times out of 10, people who are running their own businesses will be sharing something that comes from their own experience. So it will be something that they struggled with in a previous life, or I don't mean like a previous life, I mean like maybe you've had a transition in your life, or it could be a previous life if you believe in reincarnation, but we're not going to talk about reincarnation now, but this is going off. But you know, like maybe when you were younger, you were bullied, and then you end up creating a martial arts academy to help children have a strength about them that stops them being bullied, that kind of thing. So that will help you in this journey. It will help you understand who the best people are to work with. I'm glad it makes sense, Alan. Project Possible, biggest, I know, it's the best, isn't it? I wanted it on a poster, Project Possible. I just thought it was so good. Yeah, and positive mindset is essential. I know, Edward, that is if they did teach this in school. It was funny because yesterday my daughter was telling me about, they've got some group chat, and there was a girl who used to be at the school and she'd left the school and she's come back into the group chat, and there was a whole discussion in the classroom about whether she should be allowed in this group chat. And I really thought the teacher didn't handle it right. It was like, well, why are you excluding someone? She was part of the school, and there was a whole thing about that. And I just feel like they don't set children up for success at all. So yeah, I really, really do wish they taught more of this at school. My children are like, oh, we were watching that program last night, you know, the one with Wim Hof. Anyone else watch that Wim Hof thing? And all those cold challenges. I got back to my cold showers after that. And it wasn't on last night, but I was watching it on iPlayer. And one of the guys, they drop them into this, they do this, goes down these steps into this cold ice thing, this cold ice hole, and they put their ankles in, they go deeper and deeper. It's really freezing, but they can use their breath, which allows them to stay in these freezing temperatures, but it's really dangerous if their body temperature goes below a certain temperature. Anyway, so this one guy is in there, and he'd been in there, I think he'd been in 10 minutes. But his temperature was getting to the point where if it goes to that temperature, in fact, they'd made them swallow temperature things, whatever they are, temperature gauges. So they had to swallow these capsules, which would measure their internal temperature. And 11 minutes, was it, Sheila? Yeah, 11 minutes. So anyway, the temperature was dropping. And so, but he's like, I'm not getting out. I'm like, I'm overcoming this. And they're like, get out. And he's like, no, I'm not getting out. Anyway, so then Holly Willoughby, who was presenting it, she comes over, she's like, get out, you've got to get out. I mean, it's a bit of drama for the series, but the point is when he got out, my daughter turned, she's like, that would be you, mummy. I was like, yeah, probably. Like my mind is like, I've got to do the things. So yeah, you can teach your own children is really the essence of that. Teach them the stuff that they don't get at school. Yeah, freeze the fear, that's what it's called. And the Wim Hof. It's funny how Wim Hof's becoming a bit more mainstream. He's been around for ages. Has anyone done breath work? Breath work is super powerful. More powerful than anything I could probably share in this seminar, in this seminar. But yeah, breath work is crazy. Super crazy. It unlocks like trapped emotions in the body. It makes the whole, it's like, I've never done drugs, but I can imagine it's like what it'd be like if you did drugs. It's like, it's awesome. Let's see, Kwesi, you're giving me a lot of great ideas. Thank you, that's really kind. Yes, propel you to amazing goals. Yes, just take some action. That's what you really need to do. Like, you can do it. I know you can all do it on this call. You've all got it inside of you, and it's just, who do you surround yourself, and are people supporting your goals? Like, it's so important that you're around those people, because it inspires you to go to the next level, because you hear somebody else's story and then it moves you on again. So it's really, really important. Yes, I don't know which book we're talking about, Edward. They set them up to fail and limit themselves to false ceilings. That is a bit like, I'm not quite sure, Edward, are you talking about the Wim Hof thing? Yeah, clips of it. I think, to be honest, it's not my favourite programme really. It's a bit dull, if I'm honest. But I do like the fact that it's getting a bit more mainstream. There's so much more to things, and I honestly believe it's so much more about mindset, and Wim Hof's pretty amazing about how he uses the breath. Yeah, Wim Hof method. Yeah, Wim Hof method. So, yeah. That is true. The school system, the school system, hey, but it's ripe for change, isn't it? The other thing is, are you confident that you can provide that market with the solutions? Because if you are not confident in that you can give solutions, clearly you're setting yourself up for fail. So maybe it's not the thing for you, or maybe you need to do some more work, like I said, about get the 10,000 hours in, get the work, do the research, all of those things. But don't procrastinate forever. Like, one of the things that I've learned about myself is I love taking courses. I love getting more, learning. I've always been like it, always been the studious one from a young age. And sometimes that is a form of procrastination. Like, let's learn some more, and we'll do another course and another course and another course. So sometimes you don't need to keep doing courses. So Vinci says, to master the mind is the antidote to substances like drugs, and to control one's own mind and to find purpose and meaning is a secret of success, and that gives contentment. Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. And that is honestly why, like, emotions are difficult. They can be difficult, but if you don't experience the highs of emotions, then you can't experience the lows, because you need that contrast. And where we find things difficult, that's why we often turn to things like drink and drugs and other kinds of addictions. And I noticed it in myself. Like, if I felt lonely, I've been on social media, or maybe I bought something because it gives you that slight high and that kind of thing. So it's about being self-aware and trying not to check out of what's going on around you. And things like breath work, meditation is really important. You can use Insight Timer, which is free. I'm on day 606, I think, on Insight Timer. I do meditation every day. It's like, it's really, really important just to check in with yourself. So do that. So here's a case study about, this was something I loved. Like, we were all on a course together, and then I said, shall we keep talking? And that's how Like-Hearted Leaders started, this community, which turned out with this book at the end. And it was purely because I took a little bit of action, and that was, many of us did the same online course, and then from that online course I said, who wants to carry on talking each week? And so I set up a Zoom link, and that was it. And now we're 2 years in, so it's been a really good journey. Oh, that's me. Oh my gosh, yeah, sorry. Okay, that is Like-Hearted Leaders. So using this case study, like, who do you love working with, and would you do it for free? I started this for free. I did it for 6 months for free, every week, twice a week to start with. I loved it. I love bringing people together. I love talking, as you might have imagined. And thank you, Edward. And yeah, I just really enjoyed doing it. And that's how it started. It started just like that. So, like I said, what are your experiences? Who's your own target market? Like, this was my target market. It was me. It was my target market. We'd all done the same course together. It was a way to get started. And like I said, can you provide the market solutions? Yes, I could. I could provide connection for these people week after week after week. And so that's what was really needed. People needed that connection. Sheila says, you're not confident being online. Yeah, it is moving into a new space, and it is scary being online. But I think my advice on that would be, how can you take one small step towards being online? So, for example, doing a Facebook Live, for example, or an Instagram Live, or going live on LinkedIn is a big step. But what would be a smaller step? So you could just start writing text, which doesn't mean that you have to show up. You just need one picture so you could see it, because people connect with humans. But if you're passionate about something, it doesn't actually matter if everybody resonates with it, because they're not your people. Like, you share stuff, and if they're your people, they will turn up and they will become your people. And if they're not your people, they won't support you. So so yeah, take it step by step, Sheila. I would definitely say, and it's definitely a process. And I used to share quite a lot, and then I got to a stage where I didn't want to share any pictures anymore of myself, and I didn't really like it for quite a long time. I didn't want to be so visible. I wanted to live my life. And then actually somebody messaged me yesterday and said, I used to follow you all the time on Instagram, and then you stopped showing up. And that's because I moved to LinkedIn. So I did a video yesterday on Instagram. But so never discount who's actually watching you. And she's like, oh, I want to find some way to work with you. And I thought, I didn't even know you were following me. It's really strange. So yeah, I understand, Sheila, what you're saying, but you don't have to share everything about your life. I don't share hardly anything about mine, but I do share business stuff. Yeah, just try something, some text-based words, or maybe do a newsletter on LinkedIn, maybe, or just something small. And it'll build up, and then you'll get confidence. Like I said at the beginning, I don't know if I did say, but yeah, I think I did. When I went on Simon's course, I was scared because on the M25, I was like, oh, I'm on the M25. I didn't want to get out of the car park at the hotel because I was in London. And then give it a few months, I was on stage at the same course. And I was then traveling around the world speaking about community. So and that was just step by step. And the first time I did a presentation, it wasn't the best, probably. In fact, I don't think I could possibly watch it again. Actually, I'd probably find it but oh gosh, that'd be so painful. But anyway, it's step by step by step. And then when you get step by step, it becomes a big thing. Read my LinkedIn newsletter from yesterday. It's called The Girl Who Feeds Spiders. So you won't miss it. It's on LinkedIn. But yeah, read that. It's small steps that lead to the big steps. So when you're doing your research, think about what pain points does the audience have? So what is it that they need solving? So in terms of my community, it was about people wanted to have the conversation. They wanted to connect with other like-minded people. Interestingly, with the community, people didn't really know they needed it until they had it. And that's kind of an interesting marketing problem. But I didn't set it up as a business. I set it up as I just wanted to create connection, and then it turned into a business later on. So so that is one way to get into something. If you're really passionate about something and you want to make something happen, do it free initially and see how you get on. Edward says, I do all these amazing things in spite of your fear. Yeah, I know. I mean, I think you just got to lean into it. Seriously, Edward, like last week, I had this situation. In fact, I had loads of situations. So this book, for example, it's got a foreword in it by David Hyatt, who is the founder of the Do Lectures. This is his crazy foreword, which he actually dedicated to me as well. Because the foreword says, and this is good actually, this is another quote for you: don't delay, don't defer, don't overthink, jump in, all in, as if you only have one life. You do. Have no regrets. And then he's put, don't delay, don't defer, don't overthink, jump in, all in, as if you have only one life. No regrets. And then he repeated it over and over and over and over. And at the end, he put, P.S. These words were written for Claire Perry-Louise, who lives by them every day. And you know something? I don't even think I do, but he thinks I do, and I assume that. So that's the important thing. It's like, I'm scared all the time. We're all scared all the time, but I mean, I don't know how you do it. I just do it. I'm just like, okay, if it doesn't kill you, you can go on to the next thing and do it again. So we're all fearful, whoever it is, whether it's me, whether it's somebody, you know, Simon's probably fearful about stuff. Everyone is, but people don't talk about it. You can use things like social media, like Facebook groups, etc., to research problems. You can interview people who are in your target audience by using Facebook, or if you're active on social media, ask people like, do you find this interesting? Just get to know people a bit more. And there's no perfect answer to this. It's about asking the question and listening. Okay, so I did a course once. It was a leadership course, which was a terrifying leadership course in many aspects. It pushed you so much. And one of the exercises actually was about feedback, and you had to ask someone for feedback. In fact, you had to ask 5 people you knew for feedback, and there were certain questions you had to ask those people. And when they gave you the responses, you had to say thank you. And that means that you don't argue the point, you just say thank you. And that is just their experience of you, and it doesn't mean it's right. It just means that that's their experience of you, and you might take something from that or you might not. But it's quite difficult asking for feedback. If I could put my hands on the questions, I'd tell you, and I would send you off to do that this week, but I don't know if I can find them quick enough. I could have a look, but it's a super amazing exercise. It really was. So this is an example in a Facebook group of what people are asking. Does anyone know of this? They're asking a question, or what platform, or so think about your topic area, and then you can see what people are asking in that area, and use it's all out there now. There's so much on social media, so there's so many ways to be able to do this. So it's really good for research purposes. So definitely have a look at what's going on in Facebook groups. Don't start spamming though. Drives me crackers when people do that. Like I've got a Facebook group that I don't use actually anymore, but people just go in there sometimes and they just start spamming people like, yes, do you want to sign up to this? No, we don't want to sign up to it. We have no idea who you are. We don't want to sign up to whatever it is. Like, just if you're one of those people, don't do it. I'm sure nobody on this call would do that, but it doesn't, people don't want to do business with people like that. So phone people, something I've learned in recent years, a telephone actually rings. It doesn't have to just send texts. Actually speaking can really be cool rather than just texting. Texting can be open to misinterpretation. So yeah, phone people, ask your family and friends. You could create a form. You can use something like Google form or typed form, send it out to people, get their feedback. So it's really important you just talk to people. So if you can provide effective solutions to problems, you'll be set up for a successful business, because ultimately people have problems they need fixing. It's simple. When you think about it like that. So don't overcomplicate it. Like I was saying to you earlier, like really less is more so often. So when we looked at that case study, we were looking at he was so simple, like what he provided. There was 3 things. One was relationship building, the blog. The other was online training. The other one was whatever it was, coaching. And it was just simple. There was no complication in anybody's mind, because people are so bombarded that if you complicate things in their life, the most common reaction is inaction, as in procrastination. So if someone's about on the verge to make a decision and then there's some confusion, the default is, okay, well, I'll think about it later, and then they've gone quite often. You need to stand out, like we've been talking about. Stand out, put yourself on the dance floor, like I said, be that person that comes top of mind. So in the early days, I was called the membership expert, and so everybody think about me as the membership expert, and that's kind of, and now if you ask most people, they know me for community, because that's all I've talked about for 9-10 years. So you do need to stand out, because there's a lot of people out there. Don't worry too much about what everybody else is doing. You're in your own lane, it's your own story. As the quote says, don't compare your chapter 3 to their chapter 15. Like, people start before you, people have different experiences. It's all good. It's your experience. Don't let that put you off. Yeah, really don't. So create a plan to raise your profile. I think we might be talking about this with Debbie, all these kind of things. So regularly share on social media. Like I mentioned, someone was following me on Instagram And she's been doing that for years. I didn't even know. And then I disappeared on Instagram because I decided I was going to move to LinkedIn. I did put a note on Instagram, but she's like, then you disappeared. I didn't even know. I still don't know who she is on there, but just be consistent. Create content that showcases your expertise. So if you are involved in something, make sure you share it on your social media so people get to get a bit of a picture of what you're doing and what you believe in, what your values, share what your values are, in terms of, if you're into fitness and you are into personal development, show yourself at a seminar, or talk about how you've transformed your health, or whatever it might be, because people connect with other people. Relationship building in your network is essential. It's essential for life. It will pay off in all circumstances. There's never a time where building a relationship with someone is not going to pay off. And you don't necessarily, just because you build up a relationship or you'll have a nice conversation with someone doesn't mean you're going to get something back from them directly, but you don't know where it might lead. You really don't. So look for opportunities as well to be interviewed. So I've been interviewed for podcasts, which means that I go out to their network, and I've got my own network, and it grows your presence and your profile. So yeah, procrastination kills more dreams than fear, definitely. And I'm guilty of it, believe it or not. I think we all are. So create a brand identity. Who are you? What do you stand for? What do you believe in? Think about what tone of voice will you use. So if you know me on here, you obviously know that I joke around a bit. It's just the tone of voice I have. That's the way I am. I don't try and be like, speak corporately and be all prim and proper, because I'm just a real human with a panda sharpener, as it turns out. You've all forgotten about the panda sharpener, haven't you? It's still here, it's still unclosed. You need a mentor and a support network. So I've showed before, but I have had so many mentors. Like, these are some of my mentors, like so many mentors. That's not even half the list. How do you find them? YouTube. Maybe you see, I saw a tweet once and I followed it up and I got a new mentor. Find them in communities, personal introductions, books, so many places. Recommendations is a really, really good one. So look for a mentor. It helps you get there quicker. Don't invest in mentors who haven't invested in themselves. So I've spent tens of thousands on courses and mentors. And if you haven't done that, if your mentor hasn't done that, like, you need to question why you're getting advice from them. Maybe they run their own successful business and you can see that, in which case then you can invest in them. But think about it. Think about, do you have a supportive community around you? Because that will hold you up. The people you're around, your friends and family, will really, really hold you up and help you get to your goals. So now all it leaves with me to say is it's time to get started. Like I keep saying, opportunity is on for those people on the dance floor. So know your definition of success, know what you're looking to get to. Think about where you can find your first client, because that's what you need to move forward. You need someone to pay you to do the things that you want to do. Give yourself a deadline. So when I wrote the book, my first book, I had a 6-week deadline. I think I wrote the book in 5 weeks. Well, I did write it in 5 weeks because I had the deadline. It's so important. And get yourself an accountability partner, because accountability partners will hold you to your goals until you can hold yourself. Don't lie to yourself either. So if you say, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to do this, you must do it, because even though nobody else will know, you won't trust yourself. So so thank you so much for being here this morning.